People are still coming in, Mark, but before we
Okay.
forget to record, at least everything's going to be there now.
Okay. So
We've
everybody
got
have
some
a,
excited people on this team.
good. I'm excited too. This is great. It's going to be nice to start moving into some other countries and start getting this thing developed in areas that we've, been talking about but not doing. So this is
That's what
great.
this team's all about, international. We have
Yeah.
Italy on here. We've got UK if he shows up. We've got Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and the Caribbean, plus the
Wow.
And we're
US.
also going to have Mexico's coming on. Stefan
Yeah.
Rochelo's coming on from Mexico.
Oh, okay. So he's going to join us on this call, Brian?
And,
You're
and
mute.
then we'll talk to him right afterwards.
Okay. Hmm. Well, it's early in my part of the world. I'm not sure where everybody's coming from. If it's international, it's probably much later in the day.
Yes, I'm the furthest east in Kenya, and here it's 7 p.m.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. That's quite a Yeah, that is quite a difference. That's why from now on, I know we got to do these calls earlier. I'm good. I can do them earlier. So,
I'm in Nigeria. It's 5 p.m. here.
oh, is it? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, perfect time for me.
Yeah, you see, I'm still drinking my coffee. I'm still getting the day started. So Pastor, you want to start off, Brian? Who wants to start this, and then I'll be glad to jump in and do whatever you guys need me to do.
I can start it, and then I'll bring on John, and he can introduce you, or vice versa, whatever. John's the host, so it's whatever he wants to do.
Okay, well, I want to introduce Brian Cromley then. Brian Cromley, a good friend of mine for years now, a man who started, in the last business I was in with him, started homeless, living on the streets in Florida in a 10 by 10 tent. And because he put the things he learned to practice, now is a multimillionaire. So this is a man we want to listen to, and we want to take notes and put into practice what he says. Brian, welcome.
Well, thank you, John. I get really awkward when these people share that, but it is true, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody can grow a business from anywhere. I did start from a tent, but I was hungry. I was coachable. I had a willingness to learn, um, and this industry has taught me a lot of skill sets, a lot of business etiquettes, a lot of fundamentals of growth building, team building, mindset building, business building, just community building. It's what is the glue that holds everyone together, because this industry is very unique. It's created more wealth than almost every single industry out there. And it's great because you can do it at your own time, your own leisure. You get to decide who you want to work with, who you don't want to work with, where you want to spend your time, who you want to spend time with, whether it's in your own hometown, whether it's in your city, your state, your country, or somewhere abroad. And that's what makes it so unique. It is the true ripple effect. You drop a pebble in a pond and it creates a ripple effect, just as we're seeing right here. The pebble started with Mark in Calabasas, Florida. It rippled throughout the United States and Canada, and now it's rippling around to Nigeria, to the UK, to South Africa, to Mexico, and all the countries as we start to open up more and more countries. So today is a chance for you just to hear the vision and the mission, and from our founder, Mark Seyforth, and for you to ask a few questions. But today is just a chance for you guys to, if there's something that you need in your local market, or something you want, or questions you have, this is your time to ask. So I want to thank Pastor John Couch for leading this with the Grace Abundance Ministries. He is uh, the leader of the whole group here. I'm super honored and able to be a part of it. With that said, I'm going to introduce our founder, our CEO, um, the founder of the company, who, as you know, has been in this industry many, many years. Has worked for herbal life. He knows this industry. He knows
Breaking
these
up.
products inside and out. Originally
We
from
lost you,
Florida,
Brian.
great guy. I had to. Can you guys hear
Anybody
me?
hear Brian? John, can you hear him? Pastor
Yes,
John?
I can hear Brian. If you
Oh,
can't hear him, it's on your end, Mark.
yeah, I cannot. I cannot.
Nope.
He's originally from Florida, but he lives in Calabasas, California, with him and his wife and his daughter. He is going to share his vision, what he's so excited about, not only Seaforth, but one marketplace, and how this is going to be life changing for each and every single one of you on here who chooses to do the activity and take the action that it takes to create the momentum, the velocity, and the movement of money. With that being said, our founder, Mr. Mark Seaforth.
All right, thank you, Brian. And before I begin, maybe John, this might be good. This is I know a lot of these people are part of your group that you've talked to and such. What is it you'd like me to cover most? I mean, and I can keep this very short, and then kind of do more of an open format where we can all ask questions and stuff. But what is it you'd like me to cover primarily with the group?
Well, I've been getting a lot of questions specifically about how One Marketplace and CForth work together. People are confused whether they're going to actually become one company, whether they're two separate, and if they're separate, how they work together, what happens with the monthly fee, all that kind of stuff. That's one
Okay.
thing. And another
Okay.
thing, I've had questions about your history with Herbalife because you
Okay.
know, I know, we all know that there's always on the internet there's bad, evil people that want nothing more than to tear things down. And
Of course.
so when they do a search for Seyforth, they do a search for Mark Seyforth, they do a search for Herbalife, of course there's people on there that's going to badmouth it. So
Right.
could you give us some background on you, what your part was in Herbalife and a little bit of your history and something that people can say, okay, I know Mark has said this and this is where you can see the evidence. Could you
Okay.
do a little bit like that? Well, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
sure.
insult you or anything. I'm just getting questions
No,
like this.
no,
And I
no,
said the best
that's
thing to
fine.
do is go to the source.
No, I love it because again, I always laugh. I said, somebody says, "Well, I saw that on the internet." I said, "Well, it's got to be the truth. You saw it on the internet." Like, I mean, I think we all are smart enough and old enough now to realize that people can put up anything and everything that they want and say anything they want. It doesn't have to be based in any kind of truth, and that's fine. And I've just learned to accept that in my lifetime because you can spend your life chasing the people that try to do that type of thing. I always think about Trump. I'm thinking, man, if he spent any time at all worrying about the negativity and the people would say about him, he'd be worn out. He'd be dead. So in life, you just have to look at things and say, okay, it's just part of being alive, being a part of anything. So my background is pretty actually, it's very very simple. I started in 1976. I was a kid out of college. I had just gotten a degree in criminal justice, and I was looking for a good like anybody the great life here in the United States. And what happened was I got signed up to Amway. My wife to this day, that at that point in time, I'm not married to her any longer. I've been married to another beautiful girl for the last 19 years, which is my soulmate. I'll be with till the Lord calls me home. But the wife at the time said, after I got out of school, she was so excited I had this job, and I said, "Well, guess what? I'm not taking that job because I'm going to do something really different." She says, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to sell soap." She looked at me like I was, of course, crazy. And said, "What do you mean you're going to sell soap?" I said, "I'm going to sell soap." So I became an Amway distributor. About 6 months later, I realized that it was one of the coolest concepts I'd ever seen in my life, but the opportunity was terrible. I just didn't like the opportunity itself. So I decided at the age of about, let's see, I was 25 years old at the time. I decided to start my own company, and it was called Slender Now. I sold the first milkshake diet was ever sold in the United States. When I started that company, and I'm giving you guys a really, really condensed version, when I started that company, I literally couldn't put gas in my car, and that's no exaggeration. It's like you were talking about, Brian, you lived in a tent. Well, I lived in a car that I couldn't even put gas in. And back then, gas was about 20 cents a gallon, so it wasn't that expensive. So I was pretty broke. But I started that company, and 2 years later, I had the fastest growing company in the United States. It was doing over 100 million. I've written the first MLM plan ever in the industry because everything back then was direct sales. And so I wrote this MLM model that I liked. And then when I first did it, Amway and everybody was upset and said, "You can't do that. You can't do that." And next thing I know, the whole world's copying it. But that led to the company that later became Herbalife. Herbalife actually was an extension of Seyforth. When I started Seyforth, I mean, you can go back and check the Times of Slender now. I had Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was, an international movie star. He was one of my spokespeople because I'd done sponsored a bunch of like Mr. Olympia contests. So I brought Arnold in, and I had this unbelievable growing company. And then in 1978, some doctor, it was a chiropractor, created this liquid protein and killed about 40 people. They starved to death, literally. But what happened at the time, the government panicked and said, anybody's taking powdered proteins and you mix with milk in a liquid form, it will kill you and you can't take it. So for 6 months, all the FDA did was talk about this liquid protein, which had nothing to do with my product, Slender Now. But I got caught up in that whole turmoil and it shut my entire business down. So in 1978, that company, which was the fastest growing company in the United States, disappeared. So what happened was I had this huge manufacturing plant. So in 1980, Mark Hughes, who's one of my distributors, I actually mentored Mark Hughes and put him into the business. I say I mentored him. I was 25 years old and he was like 19 years old, right? So, but I'm the mentor here. So Mark came to me and said, hey, can you, because same name, of course, but Mark, would you make me my products? And I want to take Slender Now. I want to put herbs in it and I want to call it Herbalife. And I went, well, that's interesting. I don't think it'll work, Mark, but yeah, if that's what you want me to do. And he said, well, you make the products for me and I'll go out and sell them. So I said, okay, I had the manufacturing facility. So I agreed to do that. Then Mark came back to me and said, hey, listen, you're kind of the guru. Can you write my compensation plan for me? So I wrote the actual compensation model for Herbalife. As a matter of fact, if you looked at the old Slender Now, Seyforth Laboratories Company and Herbalife, if you had the two books in your hands, they were word for word copies, with the exception I changed the name from Seyforth to Herbalife for Mark because that wasn't his cup of tea. I even gave him a button called "Lose Weight Now." Ask me how. That was my button, but I gave him that button. There was everything that Herbalife started with came from my company, mostly my distributors. Actually, most of my executives that worked for my company became executives with Mark Hughes. Like for example, Chris Perry was their VP of international operation for Herbalife for years and years and years. Well, Mark was my employee. I'm sorry, Chris Perry was one of my employees. So it was just kind of like an extension of Seyforth. And the only mistake I made, and so for all of you on this call today, you're not talking to the sharpest knife in the drawer here, as they say, because Mark offered me at the very beginning half the company and I turned it down. Can you imagine? Yeah. I turned it down, and the cost for me to take 50% of Herbalife was this much, zero. He just wanted me to come in because I was really his mentor, and he wanted me to build the business with him. And I turned it down. I said, no, Mark, I'm not going to do it. And I wish you well, and I'll make your products for you. And that's obviously how Herbalife developed and started. And of course, it's gone on to be a huge billion-dollar business for the last 40 plus years. So I turned down quite the quite the opportunity, but it was okay because it led me in the direction that I went in my life, which has been very good, and I've been very blessed. So that's the story of Herbalife, okay, and how it all started. And again, there's 100 people. Anybody that knows me, anybody that knows Mark back in the day, but of course Mark's since passed on, but knows that that's how it all came to be. So, and I later sold that company out, by the way. It was called Seyforth Manufacturing. I sold it out to my two partners that I had, which is a guy named Dick Marconi and Fred Siegel. I sold them the company. They've renamed it DNF Industries, and they continued to make the products for Herbalife for years and years after that. So that's kind of that story. All right, let's fast forward. I'm not too interested in the past, never have been. I've always lived in the present and where, what the future holds. So the only thing that's good about all this, ladies and gentlemen, you're talking to somebody that's had the most unbelievable successes in life, and I've had the worst failures in life as well. And that's one of the things that comes with time. So I've been in this industry for 45, almost 50 years now. I've seen it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, you name it, I've seen it. And that's what inspired what we're talking about today. And that's where we are right now. I wanted to do something that would be a legacy, not for me, but for the people that got involved in this business, people like yourselves that are on this call today. Like I said, if I never made another dollar, I've had the most blessed life in the world. So to me, whatever happens here, this is about doing something that means something, that's going to really count. It's going to make a difference. It's going to be a legacy company that you're going to have, that you're going to be able to leave to your children one day. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I've got a 14-year-old right now, and I actually believe she'll run my company one day. She's smart, bright, just an amazing child. And that's my dream, is to build something that I can leave her, that she'll continue to build and hopefully prosper as well. So I came up with this concept of one marketplace. Now, I did launch Seyforth, which is a typical, network marketing company. But when I launched it, that wasn't really my dream. My dream was to build this new concept of connective marketing, to write a whole new business model that no one's ever seen before, that's fresh, that's different, that's exciting, that's based on community, that's based on the fact that you don't have to be a genius network marketing, as most of you know, you've probably done it. It's tough. I mean, it's hard. And you go out there and you work hard, and yes, you can be very successful. And yes, you can make a lot of money, but it's not easy. And the truth is, probably 80% of the people you will talk to can't do it. They just can't do it, and they're going to fail. 20% can. So you can build, like I said, you can build an unbelievable organization and business model knowing that you got that 20% that can and will. But why not have the best of both worlds? And that explains CForth One Marketplace. What if you could have that company CForth that's going to attract those 20%ers that can build a network marketing company, and that's wonderful. But what if you had another company called One Marketplace that was designed for the masses, that 80% can do? And that was my whole concept and dream, was if I could create a compensation model and a business model that's never been done before, that would allow the masses, that 80%, to be able to have success. That to me is a dream, because I hate the fact that somebody would join my company and fail. And it happens all the time. It bothers me. I don't want anybody to fail. So that was what the thing that kind of kept pushing me. How do you do that? How do you create something that the world can do, and they can do it successfully? And lo and behold, it happened. I just actually, it was the middle of the night. I'm a big Christian believer, and I believe God kind of directs you in your path and lives. And I think he just talked to me and said, "Hey, here it is." Because I woke up and I started writing down everything about One Marketplace. I mean, I'm just writing furiously about this concept. I mean, and it came from nowhere. I'm just writing. I don't know if you've ever done that before. You write something in the middle of the night. You wake up in the morning, you look at it and you go, "Ooh, what was I thinking?" It's like, that's not so good. But sometimes you wake up and you go, "Wow, that's spectacular." Well, that's what happened with One Marketplace, ladies and gentlemen. I woke up and I kept looking at it and saying, can this really work? And then I started working with it. And of course, now we've put it to this point where we're getting ready to take this thing out. And I think we're going to change the world and the way people shop, and the way that they earn income. And we're going to do it through One Marketplace. And it's going to bless, because a lot of people say, what does that leave? Where does that leave Seyforth? It's going to bless Seyforth, because here's what's going to happen. If we put 100 people into One Marketplace, there's going to be at least 20, that 20% that'll say, you know what? I like the network marketing side. I like the idea of owning my own genealogy and having my own organization and building it and making my money. Over here in One Marketplace, you don't have a genealogy. It's built by community. In other words, you don't own anything. So it's two entirely different concepts, but they work hand in hand. And the reason is that the way I'm developing this is that, number one, right now, if you want to join One Marketplace, how do you do it? You have to come into Seyforth as either a premier member or an affiliate. That locks your position in One Marketplace when it launches. Now, when it launches, you do have that choice. You can say, you know what, I just want to do One Marketplace. Or you can say, I know, I'm just going to stay over here and do Seyforth. I like the network marketing concept. That's what I'm doing. I think what most people are going to do is probably both. Because what I'm putting together is, and you don't have it yet, but it'll be there before the launch, we're going to have what's called a Smart Shopper Pro. As most of you know, if you've looked at the video for One Marketplace, it's called being a smart shopper. Well, the Smart Shopper Pro is only going to be able to be, purchased in Seyforth. But when you do, what you do is you get both businesses. So you get both businesses for the price of one. And so what that means is, as you're building, One Marketplace, and obviously everybody understands how that works now. I mean, it's nothing more than you putting in a smart shopper and that starts a community pod. You don't own that organization, that pod. It just grows and fills based on what everybody's doing on a global basis, but you get paid on it. But now the 10 people, let's say you put in 10 smart shoppers. Well, those 10 that they put in go everywhere else into this global pod, and you don't care because you're making money on people are coming into your global pod. But on the Seyforth side, it started a genealogy that's yours. So the beautiful thing about this is you'll end up getting both. You'll get that genealogy from what you do over in Seyforth, and over in One Marketplace, you're going to get this simple approach. Hey, I don't care. I might put in 100 smart shoppers. I might put in 1,000 smart shoppers. I'm sorry, look at that screen a little bit. So you have that choice to do one or both. And you're going to have that when the time comes. So that's kind of an overview. And I didn't get into how each one works because most of you have already looked at Seyforth. You've probably looked at that. But I want to answer any questions you've got. So please, and even going back to what I first talked about Herbalife or Seyforth or my background, please, because I Google my own name all the time, just like we all do if you're on there to see what's up there. And there's only one thing that's ever really been up there about me. It's bad. And it's a company called MLM Scam. And that guy, if you don't, and the reason I'm telling you this, and I hate even talking about it, but I have paid him off before because he's a blackmailer, basically. I paid him off before because that's what he does. He will take any company. If you don't believe me, just go Google ML scam Herbalife, ML scam MLM anything. He'll take any company out there and he'll write bad press about him until they pay him. And once you pay him, then he'll turn it around and be good. As a matter of fact, I always tell people, please go Google MLM scam, because then you'll hear the story about the guy behind it and you'll realize, oh, this guy's not a very good guy. And he's been doing this forever. So, and matter of fact, that's the only thing that's up there because I know I've never done anything bad. And for example, I read what this guy writes. I'm going, he actually does take about 5% truth and mix it in with 95% lies, but he does tell about 5% truth.
Just like the devil.
Yeah, he's got my name spelled right. He does that. He's got a couple other people's names, but the rest of the story is a lie. It's not even close to the truth. So again, for all of you, and that's something I've been tempted to pay him again, but I've done this before.
No, we're not. You're not going to pay him because I'm echoing. I'm stepping in here.
Yeah,
He's
let's
done
just
that to
sue
too many
him.
people, and it's time to shut him down.
Yeah. Behind MLM's doing the same thing. And the other company Brian and I were with are going after him legally. That's what you need to do with this one. If you have the money to pay him off, you have the money to take him down.
Yeah, I know. And he's bad news. He's bad news. But that's his game. That's how he makes money. Is he writes bad stuff and then you come in and I did it once with one other company I had years and years ago because I couldn't get rid of him and I couldn't find him. So finally I offered money and he took it. And all the stuff that was on me disappeared. Now, obviously, years later, when I started Seyforth, he puts it all back up again. He just starts all over again. So but I don't want to waste time on that, ladies and gentlemen. It is a waste of time, but it's just out there. So, but any questions, please? Let's just talk about any questions you have, and we'll go from there.
And you all can raise your hands if you have a question. But before we take questions, I want to bring a greeting from Pastor Campbell, who's on this call. He's from the Caribbean. He's also in America, but he's from Jamaica, and he is a big leader in the Caribbean. He wants to bring in many people in the Caribbean, but he's at work right now in a hospital, so he's not allowed to talk on this call, but he's listening. So he wanted me to talk for him and greet you and say he's happy to be here.
That's fantastic. I mean, and where's he at? In Jamaica now, or
no? I think he's in New York right now, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he lives in New York.
Yes. Yeah. He lives in New York, but he's going back to Jamaica, and he knows many people, and not just one Caribbean island, many. And the question that he had, that he's very, very passionate about, is instead of having 5,000 people just in Jamaica, he knows people all over. He's wondering if 5,000 people for the Caribbean will cover all the islands, because they're a community.
Again, I love I spend a lot of time. Who doesn't spend time in the Caribbean? And Jamaica actually is one of my favorite countries. I've been there so many times. I love it. Matter of fact, my CPA is from there, and it's just a great place. So the answer is, if we're doing the digital products, obviously we can go very quickly, and we've got about 5 or 6 more digital products we're coming out with. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to put the tangible products in place because obviously you got a lot of small islands with a few amount of people, so it's going to be a lot more difficult. But one of the things we're looking at doing as we grow this is using local suppliers because even on some of these small islands you have small companies that manufacture all kinds of really cool products that are very indigenous to the to the country that they're in, right? And with our shopping portal, that's one of the great things we're going to be able to do is to be able to add products that are being developed in these smaller countries that we're actually going to be operating in, and that's how we can get product distribution and that type of thing going there. So to answer his question is, we'll start with the digital products in those islands, but when we have enough people, maybe that's the magic number. Maybe there's a way to have one. And again, I'm not an expert on this. I got people to do this for me, but maybe there's one distribution point that allows us to get out to all the islands. And so we'll go as best we can, but we'll make sure that whatever we do it right. At least we'll do it with digital products. We know we can service. For example, we got some cool digital products, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, one of the cool ones I'm looking at right now is a streaming platform, and we've been testing. It's very, very good. A streaming platform for all your television, your movies, everything you can imagine, and it's packaged beautifully, and it's priced right from a cost standpoint. And right now they're just here in the United States, but they want to grow with us and start developing, obviously their platform in other countries as we go. So that'll be a nice digital product for everybody too, besides the Voyager. And then we've got about 5 or 6 other digital products that are coming that are very exciting too, that have to do with health, wellness, and some other things too that are very, very interesting. So I think we're in a pretty good place to grow. But what I want to be able to do is eventually get those products on the ground in all the countries we go into. Now, the only ones we're set up to do this right now, I think everybody knows this, is the United States and Canada. And really, we've already got all the logistics set up for the entire EU, which is about 38 countries. We have our distribution and everything set up there in Germany to ship all over the EU. So it's just a matter of when we actually, kind of say, okay, let's go. But we're not going to open that door yet. We're going to probably start, Brian, with Spain, like we talked about, and there with the digital products to get it started. And again, most people are coming in because they want to get positioned in OneMarketplace, but they're also positioned in CForth. So anyway, glad he's there. Sorry, didn't mean so long-winded.
Oh, no problem.
And Mexico too. And Mexico too.
Yeah.
And we already have a community starting in Spain, so that's good.
Yeah, so we'll definitely. So right now we'll be looking at Mexico, Spain. Obviously, you guys are what in Kenya or where's most of the people? Where are most of the folks that are on this call from?
The most are South Africa. We have Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, UK, Spain, Ukraine, Caribbean. Pretty broad group here. That's for sure. So I guess this is the nucleus. Almost everybody on this call is going to be starting those particular countries. It looks like so. Yeah.
Guys, this is so important. I mean, I know this can get out of control very, very quickly. So one of the things that we're trying to do as a company is to make sure we always do what's right. And I know that, and so I don't want to mislead anybody with thinking we can have products in every country like day one. It's just not going to happen. We can start with our digital products, service those, grow the base. And then as soon as we get to that 4,000 or 5,000 people, that's when we start putting boots on the ground. That's when we can start putting all the products in. And that'll be the same in every country we go to. And we'll be able to eventually, have that ability to have products anywhere in the world. But that's 5-10 years, of business building, which is going to be fun because that's what we're all here for. We want a legacy, something that's going to be here long after we're gone. And so that's the way we're approaching it. So please, more questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Yvette's from the Caribbean, I believe. Yvette, you can tell us what island you're on and welcome.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. I'm from Jamaica. I'm Yvette from Jamaica.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yes. Thank you. I just like to know if the traveling portal thing is like a business of itself or a digital, or it's just for who who is in the company can get benefits, or is something that you can advertise and have other people do?
Yeah,
I
well,
think she's talking about Rob Baker's new
no,
product we added to the
no,
portfolio.
yeah, the travel agency to do that, that is only in the US right now. You can only do that in the US as far as becoming a certified travel agent, because it's, it's based on US compliance and what's required to get all your certifications and stuff. But Voyager, which is our travel platform now, anybody can, obviously have that anywhere in the world and use it anywhere in the world, because there's over 1 million hotels and resorts, and it gets you a zero margin rate in all these hotels and resorts. But that's strictly as a product, which is one of our digital products, but not the travel agency.
Thank
Okay.
you for that question, Yvette.
And Yvette, by the way, like I said, you have one of the most fantastic countries in the world when it comes to people. I always tell people when I go there, I say, can people really be that nice in one country? I mean, if you go to, I mean, I'm sure if everybody's been to Jamaica, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody is so nice. And you go, is that real, or is that just because I'm a tourist and they like me? I don't know what it is, but I finally figured out after going there enough times, it's just real.
That's for real. That's for real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Pastor John,
Yvette,
Yes.
I'm also a Jamaican, by the way.
Pastor John, I would like to ask a question, but I can't find the place where I can raise my hand.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead,
go
Mrs.
ahead.
Go ahead,
Dr.
Jack.
Stefan from South
Go ahead.
Africa. He's growing a big team in South Africa already. He's already going to be ranking very soon.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you,
Thank
Dr.
you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mark. And it's lovely seeing you again. And just thank you again. Thank you a million times is not enough for what you've brought for us. We are all very, very excited about this. I have one or two questions, but can I first introduce to you my friend Johan sitting next to me? I signed him up yesterday as a premier. And now, just a little bit of something interesting. In 1993, Johan was the South African record holder for the 800 meter and the 1,500 meter in athletics. And I
Wow.
watched some of the videos, and it's so exciting. But in any case, Johan has come and joined me today, and we are talking, planning something very big. We are planning, but we don't want to tell you about it now.
Okay.
The proof of the pudding is in the eating, so we will show, we will show. But in any case, Johan said to me that he would also just like to ask a question
Sure.
to you. Sit now.
Go ahead, Johan. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Mark, thank you for the opportunity and making time available for the Zoom. So I have a few questions. So I want to start off with, if you can explain, I want to believe that this whole business is authentic and it comply with the legal requirements, at least from your country of origin, which is America. So if you can maybe just say something on that in terms of compliance. And then the second question I want to ask, when we're going to present this opportunity to other people, people with new businesses that's not been established for long and have a proven record coming new into the marketplace, people are skeptical. Okay, not all of us see this is a window period, grab the opportunity and go with it. So I think people might view this business and they will ask the typical question, okay, if I bring in Mr. X and Mr. A and Mr. Z, how will CForth or OneMarketplace be able to sustain commissions being paid to people coming in? So my question in short is, what is the financial sustainability of the business in order to serve people coming in the commissions that is due? And then my third question, Stefan said to me that there's also a commitment from the company that once you have registered and you are not entirely happy with the model.
That's our personal.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay,
our personal.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are my two questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Johan,
I say those are good
ex,
questions. Those are go
no,
ahead.
he's a no, being an ex-lawyer, you can expect questions like that.
Good. I like that though. Well, actually, my wife was a lawyer too, so I get it on, and I married her, so I get a lot of questions on.
Okay.
So,
Wonderful.
Imagine
yeah.
his wife being married to a psychologist, though. That'd be a difficult one.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. I minored in that, but I figured it was not my calling. So, so yeah, I mean, let me answer your question. The first thing is about compliance, and then that's a really good question because compliance is very important, and it's difficult. For example, we did all the compliance that's necessary here in the United States because obviously this is our our country of origin. This is where we started. So we went through all the compliance process, and I've been in this industry for, like I said, 50 years. So I kind of know it as probably as well as most of the attorneys and stuff I work with. I've worked with some of the best that there are here in the United States as far as compliance and that type of thing. But like when you go into Canada, for example, you got different rules, different regulations, different, the FDA is different to put food, products in there. For example, like there's some products that we sell in the United States we can't sell in Canada because they're just not legal there. It's like a CBD cream, for example. It's funny, it's legal here, but not in Canada, so you can't sell it there. So we have to go through that process in every country we go to. Is what is the compliance? What do we have to do? And that's why it's not easy just to say let's just open everything because, for example, like right now, like what we're doing right now, where you guys are located, we have to go in and do all the registrations and compliance and all those things, which we're in the process of doing. Now, you can go into any country digitally for a short period of time, but you have to then go in and do all the proper things. For example, that's why we're not open the EU yet, because we have to make sure in the EU, even though it's a digital product, we have to register for what they call VAT, which is like our sales tax. It's their VAT. That has to be done at the very outset. So we're in the process of getting that done in the EU so that when we open those 38 countries there, we know we're paying our taxes properly. And it's the same thing everywhere that you go, particularly when you got the tangible products. Digital products, for the most part, worldwide, are not taxed. Because the biggest thing with every country, I think everybody probably knows this, is they want their share. They want their share. They want to make sure they get paid their taxes and whatever's due, and they should be that way. And so, again, we have to stay on top of that as we go from country to country, and we will, and we're doing it. But again, it's burdensome, and sometimes you get frustrated, and sometimes you have to be, you have to draw back. Like in the EU, we were ready to open it, and we said no. There were some things that weren't quite right, so we held it. We just said no, we're not doing it. I agreed, and I told Brian. I said, Brian, look, we can start with the digital product in Spain, but we've got to get the VAT registered first, and that's in the process of being done right now. So in a couple of days, you'll see Spain will open up, and you'll be able to go ahead and start signing people up in Spain. Right now, it should be blocked because it's we've got to finish that little part yet. So that's kind of answering your question about the compliance, and that's going to be ongoing everywhere we go. I mean, in every country we go, every country's different, and it's burdensome, and that's another reason why we start with some digital products, because it's the hard part is the tangible products that come behind it. Second question you ask is how do we do it? How do we make sure that we can pay the commissions, right? And make sure that those are paid and we do that properly. Well, it starts with your comp plan has to be designed in such a way that you're not going to bankrupt your own company. And for example, with us, we pay out probably better than I think most, and I'm talking about Seyforth right now, as far as network marketing companies. The average in this industry, even though people don't really believe it, but it's the truth, is between 32 and 38% is what most MLMs pay out to their people. They claim they're paying out 50%, but they don't. That's just smoke and mirrors. And when you get down to all the breakage and all the stuff that happens, they're paying out about 32 to 36%. We can pay out with Seyforth, we pay out a maximum of 50%, but with breakage. But we're doing something most people aren't. We're taking our breakage and putting it back in, so we're paying out over 40%. We never pay out more than 50%. the comp plans are designed in such a way they cannot pay out more than 50% of every dollar you take in, because obviously you have cost of goods, you have operations, and if the company doesn't make a little bit of profit, you're going to be out of business. And so we've set everything up to do that. The same thing with One Marketplace, with the connective marketing, the way it pays. It pays out basically 50 cents out of every dollar, and that's the max. One of the things that you will see in the video, and this is important, because I had this question asked by some people. I said, well, Mark, if you allowed what you're doing with connective marketing to go and go, eventually, obviously, you saturate the world. Of course, they say that with every network marketing company. But with this, it kind of looks like you would, and that looks like a Ponzi scheme. Well, we're not a Ponzi scheme. So one of the things that's not in the original video, because it was a preliminary video, and it's something you're going to see in the next, probably, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, it'll be in there and done, is that it is finite. And so, example, this is something to share with everybody right now. The first 1 million people that come into One Marketplace, that 1 millionth shopper that comes in that starts that community pod will pay 11 rings. In other words, it will pay a full community pod. But after 1 million, the actual number of people in each pod goes down and down and down until eventually it's nothing more than one level payout, and it's just a referral. But at that point in time, this is one of the biggest companies in the world, and who cares? And the fact is, it's going to be about nothing but shopping. Because my dream when I started this, and you have to understand that, was to rival Amazon, which sounds absurd to even say that, but to one day provide a shopping experience that was so unique and so different that the difference would be, instead of Amazon making all the profits, most of our profits is going to go to the people who are on this call, the people in the field, because of the way our business model works. And I actually think it can be done. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, again, we'll be talking about this 5 years from now. But part of that is that the community pods have to be finite. So what happens is, and I just want to make sure this is clear to everybody, because you'll see it in the video anyway, is that anybody that comes into this business before 1 million, the 1 millionth shopper has the last community pod that pays out 11 rings deep. Okay. After that, from 2 million to 4 million, it only pays 10 rings deep. And it just keeps going down until eventually it only pays 1 ring deep. But for that point in time, by the time you get to 3 or 4 rings deep, people will still be joining it crazy, because at that point in time, imagine you've got 25, 30, 40, 50 million people, which, again, I even hate using these numbers. I do, but that's what the numbers would say. That then all of a sudden,
Mark, you muted out. Hit your unmute button.
No, Mark's not muted. It's you, Brian.
Okay.
I don't think I'm muted. Okay, I hope not.
Okay, I hear him now. That was
Okay.
me.
But anyway, you're going to see that in the video. And basically what I'm saying is, the rings are finite. The number of rings that we will have in this, as this thing grows and grows and grows, is finite. But for anybody, the first 1 million people that come into this business, they get paid full community pods. That 1 millionth person that comes in is the last one that's a full community pod before it starts to go down. And it'll continue to shrink and shrink. Because if you didn't do that, it would be a Ponzi scheme. And because it has to be finite. You can't just say it's going to go forever, because that doesn't work. And so and again, I think what it does, that gives more credibility to people when they look at even though the numbers look absurd, people will look at it and go, okay, well, that makes sense, because you can only have so many people in the planet that can be involved in something like this, and it has to be finite. And as a matter of fact, when I first put this together, so you know, my number personally was to never have more than 300 million shoppers. And that's kind of where we're heading with this, is that by the time we get to 300 million shoppers, it'll only be a one level payout. And it'll be basically, Pastor John, at that point in time, if you want to recommend somebody, you'll get a commission on recommending that one person, but there won't be any pods. So you'll have to live with that. But that's a long ways off, ladies and gentlemen. It's a problem we'd all like to have on this call. And I only bring it up because it's just part of the compliance stuff too that we're doing. Because we've got to make this compliant everywhere we go. And it's important, because, again, for all of you on this call, for me, if we don't do this the right way, then we're just kind of fooling ourselves. Because I know we've got a model that makes sense. It's going to benefit a lot of people, but every step of the way, it has to be done the right way. You know, and the way I look at it is, I look at every person on this call. Am I going to every decision we make as a company, like like the gentleman that just talked. Was it Johan? Was that his name again?
Yes.
Johan, yes, yes, yes.
Like the gentleman spoke, is that as the CEO and founder of this company, am I doing the right things for him every day? Every decision that we make, am I doing the right things? And if I am, then I can go to bed at night and I can look in the mirror and I can get up in the morning when I give my thanks to the Lord and say, okay, I'm good. But if I'm not doing that, then we got an issue. And I'm too old. I'm too old not to do. I want to when I go to my maker, I want to say, I want him to say job well done. That for me is going to be something that's the most important thing in my life, and to know that I did the right things by everybody that's on this call. Now, I'm not saying I'll be perfect, but ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, we will work so hard for you guys every day to do the right things and to build something that's lasting, that's going to be here. And by the way, Johan, I was I got mixed up with a company, and I didn't do anything wrong, but it was a company called Crowd One that came into South Africa and did some terrible things. The only thing I did, I provided a travel platform for them. And I had no idea what they were doing. And they went into these countries and they didn't do all the compliance and they wreaked havoc. And so obviously I pulled out from them. I said, you guys, I actually got them. This is an interesting story, but this kind of shows you my thought process. I was providing a travel platform to them, and they were just putting people in like crazy in I think it was in Kenya and in parts of South Africa, but they weren't doing anything right. So I got them Greenberg Traurig, which is one of the most respected law firms here in the United States. Go Google them if you don't know who they are, Greenberg Traurig. And it's a good friend of mine. His name is Procknow. He used to prosecute for the FTC. He's a good friend of mine. He's an MLM attorney now with Greenberg. So I got them to hire him to say, look, if you guys are going to operate in these countries, you got to do it right. So he went in to help them get it cleaned up. You know what they did? They didn't care. They didn't care. They didn't want to do anything illegal and right. So I withdrew. I said, guys, I can't have anything to do with you. Matter of fact, they still owe me $1 million. They didn't pay me, but because of what they were doing. So I look at what we are as a company and I go, guys, we're going to do something so special here, and we're going to do it right. I mean, we are going to do it right every step of the way. Will we make mistakes? Lord knows we will, but we'll still always fix it and we'll always do it right. And we've been doing that here for the last couple of years here in the United States. And because of that, and Brian knows this, now we're getting some of the biggest people in the industry coming to join this company because they go, you know what? They've been here for 2 years. They've done all the right things. Now they're getting momentum. We've got great products. Obviously, we've got this unbelievable compensation model with, connective marketing in one marketplace. So we're sitting in a position, so your timing couldn't be any better to do something massive and big and very successful. And we've got the infrastructure, and that's important. Guys, look at our team. I got the former CEO of Apple. I mean, how do you get a CEO from Apple? 20 years, one of the most successful CEOs at Apple, he's here. How do you get a guy that ran PokerStars Casino? Now, I'm not that big on gambling, but he was the CEO of PokerStars worldwide. He's here. If you look at all the people that are here, it's a pretty impressive group of guys, and they've all been very successful on a global basis. So we got something good. So more questions. I'm sorry. I sometimes I get on my soapbox. I apologize.
Mark, thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I see Dr. Francois and Yvette want to ask, but I just want to ask one, and then Johan says he also want, but we'll wait till those are finished. All that I want to ask still from my side, Mark, is I'm not very much into banking. I don't like banks. I like my crypto. Now, I just want to ask, when will we be able to withdraw our money into a crypto account?
Okay. That is working with a company right now that we're in the final stages of and again, if it doesn't happen, we're going to use another platform. Right now, we use MassPay, which is they're global, but they're all based on credit cards. I like you. I like using alternative methods of fiat. Like I like crypto. I like gold and silver. So we're working with a company called Kinesis right now because we want to use their platform because that way we can actually pay people anywhere in the world in gold, silver, or crypto, their choice, or they can be paid in fiat of their particular country of their choice. So we're in the final stages of wrapping that up. That's part of what we have to put together for this launch package. And I like it because the one thing we can do with Kinesis is we can provide on a global basis, everywhere except I think the United States right now, a debit card. So when a person signs up, their commission is sitting on their account, and they can have their money sitting on gold, silver, or crypto, but they can use a debit card to go to any store anywhere in the world and shop, and it will draw down based on what they have sitting in their account, their gold, silver, or crypto. And so
Oh,
they'll be
thank
able
you.
to have this universal credit card, which will be, a one marketplace credit card that we're going to provide everybody. That's actually kind of
Awesome.
Thank you.
so yeah.
Very
Thank you
good.
very much, Mark. Can we, Pastor John, can you help Dr. Francois and Yvette? And then after that, as I said, I can't put up a hand, but Johan just said to me he has one more question.
Well,
Sure,
hey, Pastor
absolutely.
John,
So
Pastor
the
John, before
crypto
you
is
get
going
off,
to, oh, sorry, Brian, go ahead.
somebody messaged me to ask a question. Mark, the question was asked to me, when will everything be in Spanish and audio and video in the back office and French? Because we got
Okay.
a huge French community.
It's
Oh,
moving
yes,
pretty quickly.
Spanish,
As a
please.
matter of fact, almost everything actually, I would think it's all going to be done in the next couple of weeks, because we're working really hard on all the videos and everything in Spanish and in French and the translation. And so I know they've been done. For example, my wife is Spanish, so she just did actually all the stuff for Spanish, all the translations already. It's now being edited and done, so it's not very far off. Probably it could be faster than I say 2 weeks. It might be a week, but I trying to give our guys enough time to make sure it's all done.
That's awesome. Mark, just a follow-up question from what Dr. Stefan was asking. Is the crypto payments going to be available before One Marketplace, or we have to wait for One Marketplace?
No, that will happen with One Marketplace.
Okay, so we're going to have to wait till that. Okay.
You can get them through MassPay. If you go into MassPay, it does give you the choice.
Does it
Next
really?
day,
I didn't even know that.
same day deposit, next day deposit. There's a Bitcoin on there, and I believe there's Ethereum. You will see it in your MassPay account. It gives you the option.
Wonderful. I didn't know that. Thank you.
I did not know it either, and I'm the owner of the company. I had no idea. I thought MassPay only worked in fiats of the particular currency of the country, but you can do that. Okay.
Yep. Everyone on here, the next time you go to do a withdrawal and you click your payment, look at it. You're going to see you'll have same day, next day, or the crypto.
Huh.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I got to go research that myself. I had no idea, because but again, what Kinesis offers, which is what I'm really interested in, is they're already a global company and they do everything in gold and silver. And I'm also a big believer in holding gold and silver versus fiat. So
Oh yes, me too.
So I have
Definitely.
been, and I have been for a long time, and it's worked out real well, because most fiats, all they seem to do is get devalued. So, okay.
Thank
yes,
you.
sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Francois.
Dr. Francois, wherever you are.
He's from South Africa.
Okay.
Thank you. I've got 4 questions. The one is about, and it's about the people that want to understand it when they come in. They don't want to do anything. Can you hear me?
Yes,
We
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you fine. Right.
So it's about the do nothing bonus. The do
Right.
nothing bonus after the launch.
Mhm.
So most people will be at the $99 at the product one. So when with the premiers, they pay the $99 after the launch.
Mhm.
Then, as I see it, there will be a product that they buy for that, or is the product separate? And they will get $100 back, but 50 is for shopping dollars and 50 is into your cash. Do I understand that correct? So actually, if I pay $99, will I get a product plus 50 back cash and 50 for, or how does it work?
No, no. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're a little, you're close, but you're not there. Okay.
Please
So,
help me.
yeah. So let me explain it. Okay. So the do nothing bonus, let's talk about that first. Make sure you're very clear. Okay. And this is not based on being a premier member in Seyforth at all, or anything. This is just strictly if you're a smart shopper, in one marketplace. Okay. And you're paying the $14 a month, right? But in addition to that, what you get is you get the $30 in hotel credits. Obviously, that's more than what you're spending. So you're basically being paid to join. You're also getting, of course, the silver, which comes from Kinesis. but that has some restrictions on it. But it's, you get it over time, but it's still free. It's a bonus that's being paid. Obviously, you get access to the shopping portal, but now that's only important in countries where we have, kind of boots on the ground with tangible products. Even though we will have enough digital products, you'll be able to do that. But the do nothing bonus, the way that is earned, okay, is it slowly goes up. It's not going to be the moment you start, you get $100. I mean, how could that work? That would be impossible, right? So what it's done is it's based on as that community pod that you sit in starts to build. For example, that person that's got the do nothing bonus, he doesn't own that pod, somebody else does, right? Because all he did, but he's the starting point. But he's sitting there. But what happens is that pod starts to fill, okay? He gets a small percentage of every person until eventually his do nothing bonus will eventually, it'll start off, it'll be $1, $2, $5, $10, $20. It'll eventually get to $100 a month. Once it gets to $100 a month, it stays there forever because the pod's filled up and he always gets 100. So that's the do nothing bonus. I hope and pray, though, that most people will look at that and go, well, that's probably not the smartest thing in the world. Maybe I should put in a couple smart shoppers. It's pretty simple. But if a person elects to do that, they can. So that's the do nothing bonus.
Right.
And
Now, Mark, something else he said that I think was incorrect. I just want to clarify with you. He said that people in South Africa are going to have to pay $99 when Marketplace opens. That's not true, is it? Their premier membership is still $59, correct?
Right. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, you can stay a premier member in CForth, which is $59, right? And you can stay there and you get your compensation and pay from CForth based on the compensation model that CForth has. And then if you want the position in OneMarketplace, which you've already locked up, you can take it, and that's $14.95 a month. There's going to be a package, like I said, it's called the Smart Shopper Pro. We haven't come out with it yet. It's going to combine those two. So what'll be great, before the launch, a person will go, you know what? Because some people at the launch are going to go, I just want to do OneMarketplace. Okay, so that's $14.95 a month. Some people are going to say, I just want to do CForth. Well, they can do that for $59, right, with the Voyager package. But a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't want to do just that one. I want to do both. So give me a package where I can have one package, but it gives me an income stream from both companies. Because remember, the cool thing about it is when you're building even OneMarketplace, obviously that's building over here in CForth. So why wouldn't you want to take the money that you're creating over there and have that income stream as well? So that's what we're going to have. That's going to be called a Smart Shopper Pro, where a person then can say, I want the income stream from both companies. And it doesn't matter which one you're building because one's going to benefit the other anyway. Because you can't put somebody in CForth without them hearing about OneMarketplace and say, well, I want to be over there. Just like OneMarketplace, you can't have people going, well, that's great, but I want to take a position over there. Because these two companies are sister companies, guys. They're joined at the hip. They work hand in hand together. And so, again, it's just some people go, I want the connective marketing. Some are going to say, I like network marketing. Some are going to say, I want both. So we give them both. So it's going to make it interesting. But again, and you know what? If it ends up
Hey, Mark, nobody on here wants two income streams. Nobody wants to have two sources of passive income. None of us want that.
Yeah.
Any idea how much that's going to be for both on the Pro?
No, I don't. We're still looking at that, and again, it's being decided how we can do it. And we'll probably have a couple different packages that we'll put together on the Smart Shopper Pro. And by the way, this is another thing you do not see in the video right now. And this is going to be unbelievable. When we do introduce the Smart Shopper Pro, even as good as the compensation is right now in OneMarketplace, there's another 20% that you don't even see that's going to be paid out through the Smart Shopper Pro program. In other words, when we have that Smart Shopper Pro, you will earn an additional 20% on everybody's shopping and everybody's membership once we launch it. It's not in the video right now, but it's coming. And all that'll happen prior to the launch, because obviously we want to build and build and build and build to the launch. So when we hit the launch with the Smart Shopper Pro and all this additional bonus and income money, people are going to be like, well, that's pretty good. So still in the coming, in the making. So
when you talk about the product,
yes,
eventually it's available in South Africa, or we are now, and we get to the launch period. Will the product be something that I buy separately if I'm in OneMarketplace?
Yes, yes, because remember, you're going to earning smart dollars. And so obviously one of the big questions is, well, that's great, but if I can't buy tangible product, where do I spend my smart dollars, right? Because you got to have a place to spend them because you're going to be getting them every month. You're going to be creating these smart dollars. So obviously what we were going to do is we're coming up with, and this will be kind of the fun thing, is we obviously we want to eventually, like where you're at, you're going to have products, right? It's just a matter of time. You're going to have products to choose from to spend your smart dollars. But early stage, you just got the digital products. So we have to have a way for you to spend your smart dollars. So what we're going to do is, and we're working on this now, which is kind of cool, is we're going to create a what we call right now. I've got the name Playcations. I don't know if I can use, and somebody might have used that name, but I'm not sure yet. But we're calling it Playcations. So what we'll do is we'll create vacation packages where you can use your smart dollars to take trips anywhere in the world, and these will be all expense paid trips. So, for example, because the worst thing, you got these smart dollars, you want to, and by the way, when you spend them, let's say, for example, it's a trip that's $1,000 and you got 1,000 smart dollars, it'll still be commissionable. So even though you're spending $1,000 of your smart dollars, your trip is free, all expenses paid. You're still going to be creating commissions back into the system. So that's something we're working on too, because that allows us to then have a way for people to spend smart dollars early stage if they don't have tangible products. The other thing we're going to do too is as we get bigger and bigger and people have more and more smart, imagine if you're earning 10, 20, 30,000 a month and you got like 3,000 smart dollars every month you got to spend. Well, now it's hard to go buy enough, skincare or PFPB or any kind of product and spend that kind of money shopping. So what we will do is start getting to larger and larger types of products like boats, vehicles, cars, anything that we can provide at a great cost. Again, it is savings, but at cost, you can go buy your smart dollars, go buy a brand new automobile if you want. So we'll work towards those kind of things as we get bigger and bigger. Like I say, this is going to be the funnest business ever for all of you, because guess what? Everybody on this call, I want you to keep this in mind. I bet right now, everybody on this call knows somebody that has some sort of a product or product line. I bet everybody on this call knows somebody. Well, guess what? You're going to have the opportunity to bring those products into our shopping portal. And we're doing this right now here in the US. So, for example, some of these calls says, you know what? I know somebody that's got, I don't know, I can't think of anything. It could be a soap product, it could be a cleaning product, it could be some sort of a mechanical product, whatever it is, but it's a really great product in your country. Well, why wouldn't we want to put that up on our shopping portal for everybody to buy? And if we do that, guess what? It's a win for you, because one of the things I'm doing with everybody here in the United States, because I want them to benefit. I said, if you bring me a really top-notch product, one of the things we will allow is for you to get a small royalty on that product for life. So that in addition to all the money they make, they bring me a really great product that everybody gets to benefit from. That person gets a small royalty for life for bringing that product. So that's one of the things I'm doing too for anybody. So for example, anybody that's on this call might say, oh my gosh, I happen to know somebody that manufactures an unbelievable product that everybody buys in our country anyway. Well, guess what? You hook them up with us. We put them on the shopping portal. We set up the distribution because we have a model that allows it to work. You could probably bring 4 or 5 products in your own country that you could benefit from a royalty standpoint, plus everybody.
Dr. Francois, the product we were talking about.
Yeah. Huh?
Dr.
So
Francois already got a product.
Yeah.
I
So-
already sent you the product. Brian has got it. It's already available worldwide, and it's a top product. So let's bring it on, brother.
Why not? We can. That's the beauty of it. And I want to do that, because that's going to allow us to expand our shopping portal and allow anybody that's ever in this business too to bring products to the party, so to speak. Because it's going to be a party.
It's got everything. It's legal. It's done, dusted. So it's available. Brian has got the details, and that person is just waiting for you to say yes. Let's get on a call, and then we can have a product in South Africa.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to understand. So if a person comes in now before the launch with a $9.99 product,
Right.
then it goes up in after the launch to $14.95.
Right.
If that person only brings in 10 smart shoppers, they can also earn on that slide that you've got the full benefit of all 10.
That's right. Then that person, he brings in 10 smart shoppers. Every one of he started 10 pods, right? 10 community pod. He earns one. It's unlimited. In other words, whatever each pod generates, I don't care if it's 8,000 or 20,000. And then it's based on shopping. The more people shop, because that example we use is based on, I think, $70 of total shopping. But what happens if it's $100 or $200 people are spending because we have the products and the excitement and the smart dollars to spend?
Thank you.
It's unlimited. Yes, sir.
As soon as they bring in one person, they have 250 shopping dollars. So 70
Yeah.
is very conservative.
Yeah. It's and that's one of the beauties I love about OneMarketplace, the fact that we can actually, like you say, pay people to join, because what we're giving them, with the hotel credits, that's dollar for dollar. I mean, that's real money they can spend in hotels and resorts anywhere in the world, and they can accumulate them. They can wait and do it on one trip if they want, build it up, and then book it out of one trip. So it's great. So really, they're not really paying anything to be here, and they get all these benefits we're talking about. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
fun. It's
Anything
good
else,
stuff.
Dr. Francois? Okay,
Nope,
thank
good.
you. Good questions.
All right.
Pastor Brian, let's take the last two questions, and then because we're at our hour, and let the last two questions.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Pastor
fine.
Bernard.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good morning. Wherever we are around the world. Is this Pastor John here? All right. Good.
Yes. And you're from Kenya, right?
Yeah. I have been driving, so because I waited for the 11 o'clock meeting, and I had been driving, so I missed quite a bit of information because of the terrain of my country. Sometimes the service goes up, sometimes it drops. But my first question is this Zoom meeting going? I'm sorry it's recorded. I saw it's recorded, but is it going to be available for us to be able to look at it, and where can we find it? First question.
Okay.
My second question is, most of this, it will be in our group. Okay, thank you. So I can watch it when I get home this evening. The second question is, I like what I heard, but is there the first question has to do with, what if somebody doesn't want to be involved in building a group? We are not all of us have this network marketing knack for network marketing. How can we still benefit financially or out of this system if we're not going to be doing network marketing? And the third question is, what is the sweet spot there? I mean, I know there's a $99 start, but is there any particular membership that you can purchase that would serve as a sweet spot for you moving forward?
Okay, let me answer that. Okay, so matter of fact, I would say that probably 8 out of 10 people, and again, that's always my number, are not going to be interested in network marketing or building an organization. That's just the facts. Okay, so that's why OneMarketplace exists. So for the people you're talking about, a pastor they'd be interested probably in just joining OneMarketplace, paying the $14, getting $30 in hotel credits and all the other stuff they're paid to join, basically. And they get to build community pods, and they can build 1 pod or 10 pods or 100 pods or even no pods and just do a do nothing bonus. So that's kind of, because that in a way, and I don't mean in a negative way, but it's almost like OneMarketplace is almost anti-network marketing, okay? Because it's the exact opposite of what network marketing is. Now, I happen to love network marketing because I've made a fortune in it all my life and it's blessed me, but I get it. A lot of people don't like it and don't want to do it or can't, because a lot of people, it's not they don't like it, they're not good at sales, and they're not good at trying to convince other people to do something. That's the purpose of OneMarketplace with being a smart shopper, because really all you're saying to somebody is, hey, do you want to be a smart shopper? Well, what's that? Well, they'll pay you to join, you get paid to shop. That's basically that's the story. You're paid to join, you're paid to shop if you come into OneMarketplace. And you're not going to risk anything because we're going to pay you more than you're spending anyway. So that to me appeals to the masses. And that's people that don't want to build a genealogy or a downline, an organization. They just look at it as, well, if I could just ask people if they want to be a smart shopper, they say, yes, no, I don't. Because once you get somebody as a smart shopper, you're done. You don't train them. You don't motivate them. You don't have to inspire them. You don't have to build it. You don't have to do anything that you do with Seyforth and network marketing. So that's the idea, is give the person their choice. And some people are going to say, I'll take both because it's just the other one kind of, I benefit from both. Why not? But some will just say, no, just put me in, into the program, being a smart shopper with OneMarketplace. And I think that's where you're going to find, probably that's going to be the sweet spot you're talking about, that 8 out of 10 people you talk to will look at this and go, yeah, this is for me. I could do this. I can do this because it's simple, it's easy, and there's not much to know. No, it's you send somebody the video, and by the way, this is the preliminary video you have right now. But basically, when you about getting somebody to be a smart shopper, what do? Well, all you're going to do is send them the video, and they're going to say yes or no. That's it. If they say no, fine. If they say yes, fine. But you're done either way because you started a smart shopper, which starts you a pod. So it's got to be that simple to really, really grow virally. And for example, like as an example, I've got a card made up right now. Oh, that's my thing. Hold on. Emergency alert. So, oh, earthquake. Wow. Okay. We're having a small earthquake here right now. And then I'm in California. So hopefully it's not a big one. So,
Well, if they
but
had to notify you on the phone, you're probably okay.
yeah, that's it. I think I'm okay. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I don't get those too often here, but time to time. So anyway, answering the question. So back to that. So that's really it. It's going to appeal to the masses. I was going to say, oh, I've got a card made up right now. It says, "Are you a smart shopper?" And believe it or not, I just started this and I'm having so much fun with it. I hand it to people. I go, if you're interested, great. If not, throw the card in the trash. I could care less. Now that's very indifferent approach, right? But you know what? That's how strong OneMarketplace is. Because I know if somebody takes my business card and goes, because it's got the QR code on the back, and they go watch that video, probably 9 out of 10 are going to say, well, why wouldn't I do this? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. And so I think that's what we were going to have with OneMarketplace is the masses. Seyforth is going to still be those that just love network marketing and that side of it and want to have that genealogy and build. And you know what? We're going to give them the option to have both or one. So did I answer your question, or was there something else there I forgot to answer?
I think you answered all those questions.
Yeah, I think you answered all. But if I could ask one more in your explanation here, I joined last night. I'm going to pay it today, but I'm going to pay the $99 package. Now,
Right.
Does that make me a part of both OneMarketplace and CForth at the same time, or do I have a
Yes.
separate requirement to be a part of?
No, it makes right now you are a part of both. You've locked your position in OneMarketplace. You have your position in Seyforth, which, by the way, starts earning you income immediately because as you're putting in people either as affiliates or premier members, obviously you're being compensated in the Seyforth model, but you do have your position is locked in OneMarketplace. And the important thing is, since you came in as a premier, all premier members, when we actually launch OneMarketplace, all premier members go in first. So if, for example, between now and the launch date, let's say we've got 5,000 affiliates and we got, 2,000 premiers or whatever it is, all the premiers get those first positions very close to the center of the ring of OneMarketplace before we put the affiliates in. So premiers do go in first. They have that priority position.
And Pastor, if you happen to hit a rank this month or next month, you even go higher. You go above everyone. So
Right.
if you're a go-getter, take advantage of the rank advancements because that really will skyrocket you in the beginning of the launch.
Right. And
Very
Seyforth,
good.
as you get those ranks, it even puts you up even higher because if you hit gold or something like he's talking about, then you go in before all the premier members. And again, if you understand how connected marketing works, you want to be in early. Yes, sir.
And what would it require for me to rank?
Let's have another call on that because we want to respect the time.
We'll do a separate call.
Can get together.
Yeah,
I think Johan had one more question, and I think that's the end. If you have time for one more.
Okay.
Yes, please, Pastor, please, because Johan wants to go. He has another meeting.
Okay.
So if you can ask.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, Mark, I just want to ask a question on the payment of commissions. You referred to being paid in crypto and gold and silver and the other. I have a question on being paid in the fiat currencies. So people will purchase product and pay whatever registration fees in they will pay products. If the product is, say, in Germany, they will pay in euro. If it is in the UK, they will pay in British pounds. But the commissions in terms of the fiat currencies, how will the commissions be paid? Will it only be paid in American dollars, or say if those people they are in my group
John,
I've
it'll
built.
actually be paid. It'll be paid in the
Excellent,
fiat
we're
of your
going there.
choice. The fiat of your
Sorry?
choice. In other
I
words,
went to the
Hold on, let me mute him. Sorry.
somebody
Go
mute-
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it'll be paid in the currency of your choice. So for example, you have the opportunity when you get paid your money, you can take it in gold, silver, crypto, or the fiat of your choice of your country. So it's not US, it's your choice.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. Great call, great information. Whoever's appreciative of Mark, let's let him know. Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate it. I appreciate all of you being here, and I look forward to doing this again and again. So let's again, it's exciting for me. I mean, to see all the folks that are on this call from all over the world. I mean, it's exciting because it's just, and think about it, you guys are the very starting point in the particular city or country that you're in, which has got to be amazing to see where this thing can go. And
Yes.
so thank you all for being here too.
Absolutely. And before we close out the call, I want to remind everybody on this team, our call schedule for this week, we have Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday, we're doing just Seyforth. Thursday, we're doing Seyforth and One Marketplace. So look on the group and everybody join. And bring your guests. Bring. Invite. That's how
And
you're
I'll be
going to
glad
make money.
in 2 or 3 weeks, if you'd like, guys, I'll do this again. I enjoy it. I
Yes.
really do. I truly enjoy this and just getting to know everybody too. And it'll be great when I can actually meet everybody in person one day. That to me is the ultimate.
That'll be
And
awesome.
before
Yes.
before we
Karibu,
close, John, I
Kenya.
want to say one thing.
Welcome
John,
to
before we
Kenya.
close, I want to say something before we close.
Yes,
Okay.
Brian, go ahead.
Many of you are on this call, and many of you have been in other companies, but I want you to really, really think about you're having personal, intimate, one-on-one time with the founder of a company. You won't get this in other companies. This is a really special moment for all of you because it's special for Mark, it's special for me, it's special for you because we are the family growing this community worldwide, and you're hearing it right from the founder's mouth. So I want you guys to really, really realize this is a really special time because founders don't do this in this industry. I mean, you're getting personal time with him.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. But
Absolutely.
I truly I enjoy it. I truly do. So
Thank you, Mark. We really do appreciate.
You bet. Everybody be good. Take
Yes.
care.
God bless.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye, everybody.